Hello, friends. I think I would clear my throat before I start a video, but apparently not. I'm Morgan, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what are SMART goals and why I chose this topic for August, why me and the other coaches on this group just feel really passionately about this month, and help you get started. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I am not somebody probably that other people would consider very organized. I don't consider myself super organized. I've always thought of myself as somebody who's spontaneous. I go with the flow. I kind of do what I want. I make my own plans. And I always kind of thought like, that's just the way I am. That's the way I like to be. But what I've learned this past year and a half or so is that I'm actually a lot happier when I'm goal oriented, when I have a plan that I'm following, and I'm making measurable progress about something. It makes me way happier. And like one example of that is that I found grad school incredibly difficult. One of our other coaches, Felice, and I know each other from graduate school. It is incredibly stressful, as many of you who've gone on in further education know. And one of the things that's the most stressful, I think, about graduate school is that you have these big milestones, writing your master's thesis, finishing your general exams, writing your dissertation, but there's nothing between those, nothing to show your progress, nothing that somebody can say, hey, this is how you get from here to here. Like your general exams, here's a list of 100 books people will ask you questions about, have fun. Like nobody tells you, here's how to take notes, here's how you should systematically work through them, start with this book, end with this book. Like you just are thrown in the deep end, and it's really stressful. And in fact, when I was in graduate school, I decided to get a part-time job that turned into a full-time job that turned into me managing a store because working in a store where I loved the products and sold the products made me have measurable progress. You know, each hour I was expected to sell X amount of money worth of product. I was expected to, show up at this time and leave at this time. And I had a boss who told me if I was doing a good job or a bad job. Then I became a stay-at-home mom. So I have 3 kids and I'm pregnant with my 4th. And that's another job where you moms know nobody really tells you if you're doing a good job or a bad job. You get strangers and sometimes family members, usually in a not very polite way, who say you're doing a bad job. And then you have hopefully a few supportive family members, your husband, hopefully your kids occasionally, telling you you're doing a good job. But you don't have anything measurable. You don't have like a 6-month progress report. Some days your kids are awesome and you're like, I'm winning this parenting thing. And some days they're little demons and you're like, I'm failing this parenting thing. So it's hard. It's really hard to be in a situation where you might have these big goals like, I want to get a PhD, or I want my kids to turn out well, or I want to be a good mom. I want to be a good person. To have these big goals and no way to get there. And I feel like that's the kind of person I really was, is that I had all these ideas and goals. And I mean, I have all sorts of ideas that I still don't follow through on. But I had all these big ideas and no plans to make them a reality step by step. And that's what has changed in my life hugely. So 2 years ago, I was basically exactly where I am right now. I was pregnant. I was due in December. I had had a rough first trimester. In that pregnancy, I had gained almost 40 pounds in my first trimester. I gained a lot of weight. I was very unhappy. I was about the weight gain. We were in the middle of a move and renovation of our house, which was stressful. My son was starting preschool. There were a lot of things in my life that I felt stressed about, and there are things I wanted to do differently. I wanted to be a better housekeeper. I still do. I wanted to be a better mom. I wanted to not be so tired all the time. I wanted to be feeding my kids better food. I wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to not feel like I was drowning and snowed in and overwhelmed by like this amorphous, like I need to be a good stay-at-home mom with no plan or idea of what that even meant, like what makes me a good stay-at-home mom, like keeping my kids alive or having cookies baked every afternoon. Like, I don't know. So I really needed change after that pregnancy because by the end of it, was so tired, exhausted, not cooking anymore. I had a tough delivery. I just really knew I needed a change in my life. And so I decided to join a group like this that my friend Meredith ran. And I was like, okay, I am ready to change something in my life. And she helped me set up a plan to exercise every day for 30 minutes, a plan to follow a simple nutrition plan, and a plan for accountability to check in with my fellow challengers every day. And I started following that plan, and all of a sudden I was healthier, I was happier, I was seeing change because I had a set goal. My goal was to get stronger and lose weight. And all of a sudden, by taking actual steps, not just like, maybe I should start working out, maybe I should eat more healthy, like by having actual steps being taken towards those things, I was seeing major progress. I lost 80 pounds. I gained a lot more muscle strength than I ever had. I started taking trapeze classes, which I'm still doing very slowly. Like I started seeing myself achieving goals. And what I realized from that experience is that this actually applies to all areas of our life, is that I can be successful when I follow a plan, and I am not successful when I just have this like fantasy or wish of what I want. So let's start with like a fantasy, here's an example. So I really wanted, and have wanted for a long time, to go on more like epic vacations with my family. I love to travel. My husband likes to travel, but I just felt like we only visited family, and there are all these places in this country and in other countries I would like to go and I'd like to show my kids, but I never felt like we had the time or energy. But I just had this idea in my head, like, I'd like to take the kids somewhere cool, just us. But I never told my husband I wanted this so badly. I never started researching options about where we could go or how we'd get there or how much it would cost. I didn't do anything to try to make these plans a reality. But once I learned about goal setting, I wrote this down as one of my goals this year. Was I want to plan a family trip to Colorado. And we're going in a couple weeks to Colorado because we made a budget, we made a plan, we got the time off, we saw the steps it was going to need to take to get there, and then we started taking action. So think for a minute. What do you want out of your life? You can pause me here if you want. What do you hope for yourself? Do you, want to own your own business? Do you want to be able to do a pull-up or a push-up on your toes? Do you want to cook a meal from scratch? Do you want to start eating vegetables every day? You want your kids to eat some fruit? None of those things just happen one day. Your kids aren't going to wake up and say, I'd like fruit instead of Cheez-Its. You're not just going to be like, today I'm going to cook vegetables if you didn't buy any vegetables. You're not going to just one day walk over to a pull-up bar and be able to pull up your body weight if you don't practice or set small goals and get smart about making a plan. So I kind of want you to start thinking, and each day this week we're going to kind of talk about a different aspect of goal setting and what it means to get smart. But today I kind of want to start by thinking about what you want from yourself. Not just, I want to lose 10 pounds, although that's a great goal, write it down. Or, I want to fit in my jeans from high school. P.S. When you fit them, you'll find out they're way out of style and you don't really want to wear them anymore. But let's start thinking, what do I really want, both from my health and fitness and from my life? And then as you write down those goals, and I'm saying go big, like you can write down a big goal, like I want to be able to go skydiving, or you can write like a goal, I want to be able to, I don't know, fit in my wedding dress again. That might be a real big goal too. I don't know. But, you know, like, think about these goals, write them down, and then let's get SMART. So SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So specific. So let's say, my goal, I should have like thought of some to use as examples. Let's say my goal is, I want to lose weight. No, I don't want to use that one. Let's say my goal is that I want to be able to do a pull-up, which is something I have never done still to this day, although I'm getting better. So I want to do a pull-up. That's a measurable goal. It's something I want to achieve. A non-measurable goal like this might be like, I want to be stronger. You know, like that's a good goal, but it's not going to, when will you know if you've achieved that goal? You know, like I want you to know that you've achieved this goal. So I want to get strong enough to do a pull-up. It's a measurable thing. You can go and see if you've done a pull-up or not done a pull-up, you know. Is it achievable? You know, it's true, actually, some people just cannot do pull-ups. And if I turn out to be one of those people, so be it. But currently, I believe this is achievable. Let's say you like there's a real reason you'll never be able to do a pull-up, like you easily dislocate your shoulders or something. Well, this won't be a good goal for you because it's not achievable. That it's relevant to what you're doing. So like, you know, if there's no reason for me to ever do a pull-up other than just wanting to do it, is this really a goal that makes sense for me? You know, for me, wanting to do a trapeze, this is like a very relevant goal. It's a kind of important thing to be able to do eventually if there are moves I want to be able to do. And let's say it's time bound. This is also not a good example for this because I don't know how long this is going to take me. Definitely probably till after I have this baby. But setting an end limit on this goal, you know? So let's say in the next year, I want to be able to do a pull-up. So now that I have this goal that's measurable, that's achievable, that's specific, that I want to do it but in a year, then I have to start taking steps and planning how I'm going to get there. You know, I have a pull-up bar in my room. I've really started like just trying a couple times a day to grab it and start doing pull-ups. You know, where my pull-ups look more like this. But, you know, I get stronger every day, you know, because I'm practicing. And whatever your goals are, this is the criteria I want you to start using with them. You know, let's say another goal might be, like I said, fit in your wedding dress. Well, let's say I want to fit in my wedding dress by my next anniversary, which I don't know when your next anniversary is. I don't know if you still have your wedding dress. But that's measurable. You'll be able to know whether or not you fit in your wedding dress. It's not just, I want to fit in my old clothes, but you have a specific garment you've chosen. Whether or not that's achievable depends on when your anniversary is and how much weight you have to lose. Maybe it is really relevant to you. Maybe this is something that's like a big goal. You've always wanted to take a 25th anniversary picture where you and your husband dressed in your wedding clothes. I don't know. One of my friends made a deal with her husband that if she could fit in her wedding dress at 5 years, they could go on a trip anywhere in the United States. And if she still fit in her wedding dress at 10 years, they could go on a trip anywhere in the world. So she is like very motivated. Like this is a relevant goal for her, not just like a vanity goal. She will get a trip anywhere in the world if in the next 6 months she fits in her wedding dress, which she will because she's been rocking it. And it's time bound, you know, like you have an anniversary, you know when it is. So anyway, I just wanted to introduce you to this idea, and I want you to start thinking, what is it I want? And as we go through this week, we're going to talk about how to set goals for each different area of life. Like, we're going to start talking about setting like a personal goal, setting a nutrition goal for your meal planning, and setting an exercise goal. And those are going to look different for everybody. Some of you are already super healthy eaters. You eat nutritious meals every day. You eat vegetables with every meal. Like, you are totally... your goals are going to look different than somebody who has a hard time eating any vegetables, eating any fruits, or whatever. You know, and ditto for exercise. Some of you work out every day already. So your exercise goals might look different from somebody who is just starting out, trying to find the time to work out 3 days a week, or trying to find the right exercise for the particular physical limitations they have. So we're going to be talking about this all week, but I just wanted to introduce myself and introduce the ideas of the SMART goals. And hopefully this wasn't way too long and you will listen to it. And if I have time, I'll make captions for it so you don't have to listen, you can just read. Okay, thanks guys, bye.